Welcome to the Unlock the Genius Within podcast. My name is Jordan DeBarno, founder of the Creative Genius Academy. And on this show, I'll be teaching you the principles to unlocking the part of your consciousness where your true genius and potential lives. Thanks for joining me today, and let's get into the episode. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Unlock the Genius Within podcast. It is episode 5, and I'm very excited about today's topic. It just dropped in yesterday, as I got out of my coaching session with my mentor. And when it came up, I thought, well, this has been on the back burner for a while, but it's time that I actually bring this content to the show because I think it's going to help a lot of the listeners, particularly the executives, the entrepreneurs out there that are focused on growing business to make more money. So today's topic, it is money magic. And my intention, guys, is to help you build momentum with your money. This is what I'm most interested in because over my time working in sales, building my own sales teams and consulting, a wide range of businesses, everyone's concerned with making more money. And what I found is there's this really interesting structure that entrepreneurs build for themselves where they're in a place where they're struggling, they're really wanting to make more money, and they have this big jump and they've got this increase in income, revenue, they need a higher staff and it's all happening, right? But that structure, because it came from a painful place and they were desperate to get the cash flow in, eventually the pendulum needs to swing back the other way. And then they have this downturn, this point where they get stagnant and then the business starts to decrease again. And then they have to, wait till it kind of empties out and gets to a certain point where they're like, okay, that's my minimum now. And then they swing back the other way. And look, for me, I used to be like that too with my own income in sales and even my own businesses. But one thing that I've learned is that if you know the structure that creates continuous momentum with your cash flow, then you're really going to get out of that pain to pleasure place and really get in a state of creating above it. That's really my focus for today. It's to get you guys out of that structure where it's like struggle, thriving, back to struggle, then thriving, back to struggle, then thriving. It's like it doesn't need to be that way. All righty. So let's jump into it. We're going to start off with the misconceptions today. I'm going to invite you guys, if you have not listened to last week's episode on natural leadership and the first episode on why you forgot you're a genius, a lot of what I speak about today, the foundational principles, are in those 2 episodes. So you really want to go back at some point and listen to those because a lot of what I speak about today is going to make more sense when you listen to that. Okay, so if you have, then let's kick off. So the first misconception that people have when it comes to making money and having flows of money coming into their life, it's that people who have a lot had to do something shady or manipulative or I love it when I hear people say boss-like to bring the money in. And it's like you would only believe that if you believed money was personal. I want you to write this down. Like for me, when I started in sales, I believed money was like a personal thing. You had to be very confident. You had to be very wear a particular set of clothes and have a particular aura about you to make money. And the interesting thing was that the more I lent into that premise, it made me speak a certain way. It made me read the words off my sales script a certain way. And you can imagine with all that trying and effort, what it was actually telling the customer on the other end of the line. It was that this guy thinks it's all about him. What a selfish prick. Okay. Money, here's the thing. Money is structural. It's not personal. Flows of money is a structure. It's not about you. Okay. And this was the most profound lesson that I had in 2018. See, I got good at sales based on skill from the start until, let's say 2018. And then 2018, I had a profound life-changing moment where my sales game went to another level, and so did my income in a huge, huge way. And it was when I saw that I couldn't continue to rely on my energy to close deals. I couldn't continue to rely on my personality, the made up part of me based on what I think others think of me. I couldn't rely on that anymore because it was exhausting. Like, I remember one day walking into the office, my PA's there. I had a list of leads to call, plus all of these pre-booked sales appointments, and I literally could not talk. I was like, Lucy, get me some hot water. Like that, it even hurts my throat to even try and remember how that was, because it was horrible. And I remember picking up the phone, going through a whole sales appointment with this lady, and I could hear she felt sorry for me. So she stayed on the call, but it was like speaking to a croaky robot the whole call. And of course, at the end, she was just weirded out by the whole thing, and she said no. But that was the result of thinking that sales was all about me. It's like, I need my money. I need my money, and I'm not showing up in a particular way. And if I don't show up in this way, it's going to go away. And that's just so much pressure. And when you change the structure to money is a structural game, you free yourself up to just go, I'm going to rock up however I want, and let me take that back. However I want to serve this call, that's how I'm going to rock up. Okay, that was only a half truth. However I truly desire to serve this call, to serve this business, to serve this customer, I'm going to show up like that. And I'm also going to keep in mind that I am serving that. I'm serving the heart of that customer, the heart of the business, the heart of this product, the heart of the call. I'm serving it. And then you become selfless. And as a byproduct, all the personal things you could want come to you. Okay. And I'm not saying become selfless and, do all this stuff for charity. It's not about that. It's about your energy not being on the front foot, standing in the structure and giving the unconscious message to your customer, which is, I have, therefore you're safe to give, right? I have, therefore you're safe to give. I have the energy that you need. I have the energy. My focus is on what you need. So you're good to give. You give, you can bet your ass that it's going to be worth it, right? And that's that energetic transmission that's not spoken about enough. Okay, it's like, I've got to read the words a certain way. I've got to show up and pizzazz people. No, stop, right? That's when you think it's about you, okay? And when it's about you, you always recreate your own shit to fight up against. It's like what I said last week in the episode. It's like when you think success is personal, you will have to defeat yourself to go to the next level. That's why people are like, it's you against you. That's the only competition. It's like, yeah, when you're in your ego, it's you against you. When you're in your genius, there's just no competition. You just create what you want, right? It's like, it drives me nuts to see all these motivational quotes. People like, I am fighting the good fight because it's me against me. Good for you, man. You continue fighting the good fight. I want to go and help people who are open to hearing this message. You don't have to fight the good fight. You can just create what you love. You can literally just create it, right? Because it's two different orientations. The ego wants you to believe you have to fight, you have to scratch, you have to claw, you have to spit, bite, whatever. Okay, your genius is just like, dude, what are you doing? Right? Just ask for the fucking sale. Right? It might not say that, but quite often you'll find in your genius orientation with this stuff, it's just so simple, not easy, simple. Okay. Now, second thing, misconception. People think money evades me, therefore I must do everything I can to get it. Now, again, this is kind of like a sub misconception from the first one. When you think money evades you, okay, essentially what you're telling the customer, okay, and what you're telling your subconscious is, first you're telling your subconscious, we're going to need to do more. We're going to need to offer more in order to receive. Okay. So all of a sudden, I'm talking about sales scenarios here, but you can even imagine in your job, you will naturally create more work, more words to say to the customer or to fulfill tasks than that is actually necessary, because that's what you're telling your subconscious. Money continues to evade me, so I better do more, okay? Because doing more is always better. That was me, okay? And I'm only learning how to go, Jordan, that's not true. Step into your genius, see it a different way, right? And what you tell your boss or your customers is that, well, I'm not really that worthy. So what do? They take advantage of it. They take advantage of it. Okay. And that's where people go, well, I'm getting screwed by my market. I'm getting screwed by my boss. No, you are creating scenarios where you get screwed because you're telling your subconscious it continues to evade me. So your subconscious goes, rightio, let's create scenarios where money will evade you. Okay. And this happens for a number of reasons. People only believe that. I believe, number one, because they're not focused on their truth. Okay. They're just not on their truth. They're not in their heart, their true essence, their genius. That's number one. So that's the you part, the energy that you bring to everything. And then number two, they're focused on themselves, right? Sounds counterintuitive what I just said, like I'm contradicting myself, but hear me out here. When you're focused on the energy you bring to something, yes, that sounds personal, but it's actually not. It's actually not. You're focused on the truth of yourself from a lens of, I'm going to serve this. I'm bringing the truth of me to serve this. That's a very different thing. When you're like, the truth of myself so I can feel better about how I am as a person. Oh, that's just your ego going, telling you that that actually matters, right? Which it doesn't. Okay, when it comes to this kind of domain that we're talking in. Okay, it doesn't. The second thing is people struggle with the whole money evading thing is because they're focused on themselves, and they're focused on themselves instead of the genius of the business, the genius of the product, the genius of their job. They're not seeing it. Okay. It's like, I used to coach people on sharpening up their offers. Okay. This was like early last year. And I remember questioning all the business owners. I had this workshop called the Supernatural Entrepreneur. Don't run it anymore. It's kind of evolved into what I'm doing now. And I asked people, and it was like, is your offer that good that you could get someone interested with one sentence? And they all looked at me like, well, that's impossible. And I said, no, well, it's not. It's not. But why do you think it's impossible? And it's because they're like, because the market's hard and, there's so much competition. So many people are doing the same thing as me. It's like, yes, your ego gets you to focus on that because you don't know the truth. You don't know the truth of your business. When you know the truth of your business, the genius of what you do, when you're attached, not attached, but when you're connected to that emotion, that's behind that, your subconscious is going to put you in front of people that need the genius thing. And then you say the genius thing and they're like, oh shit, that's really cool. And then all of a sudden, all this niching, positioning, wearing a mask, saying all these things, objection handling, all the shit I used to teach, it just goes out the window because now you have the assumption I am creating a reality where I am in the right market. I wind up with customers that just get what I'm saying because you're on the truth, you're on the genius. Okay, because that carries you to the paths that you need to travel. But when you're off it, you'll struggle. You'll have problems with people not understanding you. You'll create pitches that you think is genius. By the way, we're going to get to that later. Never pitch what you think is genius. What you like with your ego think is genius, because then you're just going to be so far out of your heart when you're selling. But yeah, it happens because people aren't on the truth of their business and they're not on the truth of their heart when it comes to service. So that's the second thing, second misconception. Now, the third thing is, oh, Jordan, I feel icky asking for money. All right. Now, I probably could have titled this a sales podcast, to be honest. But anyhow, we're started. We're moving and grooving. I feel icky asking for it. Okay, here's the thing. And this is gonna sound a little like, oh, Jordan, that's a bit brutal, but just stick with me here. Your belief that it needs to be any different when it comes to asking for money, that it needs to feel nice, it needs to be this joyous exchange where you're like, yeah, it's great. I'm asking you for cash and it's not meant to feel yuck. Your belief that that shouldn't exist, okay, is what's making you feel that way. And here's what I'm going to tell you about that. All right. Drop it. Drop it, because it's not real. It is meant to be tense when you ask for cash. It is meant to feel uncomfortable. It's meant to be a little, ooh, an exchange is going to happen, because that is creative tension. That's why I see people on Instagram, they're promoting these programs. I'm going to teach you how to sell without feeling icky to ask for it. Just seriously, it's a load of dog shit. Okay, you are going to feel uncomfortable for a period of your time in your life where an exchange is happening and you feel, shit, this is building up, this is tense. And that's a good thing. You're actually on a deal there. In my sales training, guys, I always say, when you feel tension in a sales conversation, you are close to a deal. Don't back down from that. And so many people, they jump and they try to resolve their tension by being nice and not asking and backing off and saying all this wild shit that's just not necessary. Change the structure. Again, this is the thing. You're in a structure of the conversation's meant to feel nice and therefore I'll make money. No, what you're actually saying to yourself is I want the conversation to be nice so I feel accepted and I don't look like an asshole. Get over yourself. Sorry, I'm being a bit harsh here, but this is what you need to hear. All righty? Sales is structural. Money is structural. When you're in a conversation, it's not about being a dick now on the other side of it, but when you are in a conversation where value is fitting a particular need for that customer, it is going to be uncomfortable for that person and for you. You don't need to know why it's uncomfortable, but it's going to feel like your limits are being stretched, because expansion's about to happen. Okay, expansion is about to happen for you. You're about to receive some more money, and expansion is about to happen for that person on the other end of the line, because a need is going to be met. They're going to expand. Don't back down from it. Don't back down from it. Don't buy that, oh my God, it needs to feel good. It doesn't. It doesn't. Let me, I'm very, very like, guys, this principle alone changed my life. Every business that has changed my life, every time there was a dramatic shift in my income, in the way I was showing up as an entrepreneur, in the way of showing up as a person, there was tension. There were conversations with people that I felt, oh my God, how am I having this conversation with this person? It's uncomfortable. I feel like they're going to tell me no. I feel like they're going to tell me to piss off. But every time I've embraced it and not tried to fix it, do you know what's happened? Quantum leap. Quantum leap. So please, please just hear me loud and clear. Drop this conception that you need to feel nicey nice on your call and that your customers need to be comfortable. That's not what you're there for. Okay. And I'm going to explain why in the second section of this podcast. We're going to take a break, guys, and we will be back for the 3 key premises when it comes to money magic. We'll see you then. All righty, welcome back, guys. We are about to go through the key premises for this subject of money magic. Before we start, I want you to take a moment now to just absorb some of what we've already spoken about. Like, we went through some pretty heavy misconceptions when it comes to making money, continuing money flows. And it's important that we tell our subconscious how it's actually going to be. So before we start, just take a moment now to jot down a few things. If you want to comment on the YouTube video now would be a great time. Just sharing what you loved. Also, feel free to go and share it in a review on our podcast channel on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and really do it because you want to share to yourself first and foremost the way it's going to be. When you express that, you're actually embodying the lessons, and you're not just going, yeah, nice, Jordan, into your ego's mind and then out the other ear. When you share it, this is when it really starts to become real, because you're telling your subconscious, this is what I'm focused on. And then secondly, I would also love for you guys to share reviews and comments, because I love seeing them personally. And it's important because it gets this message out to more business owners, more executives that need to hear this message. So without further ado, let's get into these key premises. Number one, the structure is more important than the money. I want you to write this down. The structure is more important than the money. What do I mean by this? I should actually change this premise to the structure is more important than the byproduct, but because this episode is about money, let's keep it on brand. So what do I mean by that? If you're focused on the structure of what you are creating, the business, the end result of the business, what it actually does. Okay, what does your business actually do for its customers? What's the end result of that? And you are aware of where you are in relation to that end result. Okay, you will build attention that's of service to that end result. Now, you're going to go, wow, revolutionary, Jordan. But trust me, it is. Because most of you are aware of where you are, but you're focused on money. You're not focused on service. You're not focused on the end result of your customers. You want money. So what do you create? You create scenarios where you make whatever your energetic limit, whatever your psychological limit, psychological, energetic, whatever term you want to say, whatever that upper limit is in terms of money, you will just hit that. Okay. Now, for some people, it's a lot because they experience a lot of pain at one end, maybe they struggled a lot as kids. So they've got a huge value for money. So maybe it's like $1 million a year. That's their upper limit. They need to have that. Right. So they'll bounce there and then they'll get here and it's like, great, pleasure, amazing. And then they'll create an event to reflect the pain. And then it's like, bang, the pendulum needs to swing back this way because they were running away from this. But if you're in a structure that is conducive to serving an end result that's not about you, you change. Now, the pendulum is still going to swing here. You're still going to have moments where you're serving this big end result over here, and you're going to have moments when you're not. But the point and the power of this, okay, is when you're able to serve an end result that creates value, that's actually on demand, that's needed. Okay, you don't have limits. You're just free flowing like an eagle. You're out there soaring through the sky instead of being a turkey running away from a predator on the ground. You can go as high as you want, right? You can go as far as you want because you're focused on value. You're ever expanding there. But when it's like, well, my goal is $1 million and then it's $2 million, you are putting a cap on yourself. But if you're on a true end result and it's like it's expansive and it's just there and it's about value, you can grow. Okay. Now, here's another thing for you. Change the structure is more important than the money. When you're on a sales call with a customer, why are you just focused on that call? I need this sale. I need this sale. Why aren't you focused on the truth of what that sales call is? Is this person the right fit or not? Find that out. Are they the right fit or not? That's it. Because you've got other people to serve. You've got other people that are the right fit, and you just want to keep telling your subconscious that because it will eventually give them to you. So you got to be on the move. When I get on sales calls, I'm on the move. I'm there to serve, and the best way that I can serve is to analyze and see, hey, is this a match or not? Is my genius proposition? I don't want value propositions anymore, guys. I want genius propositions. What's the genius of my business? I don't need to create an app or a revolutionary AI tech to be a genius. Just what's the heart of my business? Just seeing the heart of my business is genius. Lots of people don't see the heart of their business. Seeing that, okay, being clear on that and then listening to people. Hey, what do you need? What's going on? You don't ask that, right? You have better structures. But by being on that, okay, and then just hearing what's going on for that person, you will be able to tell within seconds. Fit, non-fit, bang, move on, go. But then when you get in this mindset, I need to make this sale. I need to say the right words to make them feel a certain way so they buy. You're out of your power. You will do that and you'll go, yeah, Jordan, but I'm closing at 80% and I'm killing it. You're not making enough calls. You're not making enough calls. Okay, if you're closing at 80%, you are not making enough calls, right? Close at 50% and then we'll talk. That's when you know that you're actually talking to enough people to go, yeah, I'm saying no to enough people on one side to increase the quality of my clients on the other side. That's another structure. Lots of people are like, I'm closing at a high rate. But again, that is a limiting structure, because you could be getting clients that aren't people that are actually going to ascend up your ladder when it comes to other offerings you could make. They might take up a lot of your time. All right. And it might not be conducive to you expanding as a business. But if you're speaking to enough people where you get 50% of them saying no, or you saying no to, and you get 50 saying yes, okay, I know for a fact you have increased the quality of your clients on the other side, because life works in duality. Okay, you guys know you can't have a good without a bad. You can't have a win without a loss. You're always going to have both. So this is how I see sales. This is the most powerful structure in sales. It's like, in order for me to have the highest quality clients I could possibly get, I need to say no to the same amount of people. Okay, it works. It balances itself out. There's so many ways that I could put this, guys, and spin this, but this just goes to show you the structure is more important than the money. If you're focused on, I need to make this sale to make the money, or I need to make money in my business now, so what campaigns can we run? You're in a structure that will produce results, but it will produce results where results aren't true results, where success isn't success. Yes, money. What have you created down the track now? Oh, shit, I've got clients I don't want to work with. Oh, shit, it takes a lot of time to serve these people. Oh, shit, I spent 2 hours trying to close this client and I missed 3 hot leads that were ready to buy. I don't know, that were ready to be qualified. Let's say that's more realistic. That were ready to be qualified within that time. What happened? Because you chased the false end result, the false, exciting, lustful feeling. Okay, it's all about the structure. And believe me, I've run a lot of sales trainings over time. I would almost bet my bottom dollar 90% of salespeople, 90% of executives, 90% of sales managers are in a structure that is not conducive to the growth of the company. They're in a structure that's conducive to the growth of their wallets. That's very true. They get some money, but it's not conducive to the growth of the company. Okay, and this is where you got to get outside your ego. Well, the growth of the company always screws me, right? Because you're creating that, right? You got it. Yeah, so and this is where we get into to what I was speaking about last week, where it's like, you have to see how your genius is serving your company. If you're working for a big corporate or like a real estate chain, you've got to see how your genius is serving that company. Otherwise, you won't follow through on what I'm saying here. You won't, okay? Because you'll be like, but how can I assure I'm going to come out as a winner in this? You can't be sure, but you have faith that your genius, okay, will create loads of money, loads of trust, loads of respect, and loads of ascension as a byproduct of being in a powerful structure. Okay, all righty, we're going to move on, because I could talk about this one principle for literally 2 days. Probably should, hey. Second principle, exchange is not personal. Hey, exchange is not personal. I alluded to this earlier on. Drop this whole thing that sales, asking for money, moving money around, it's a personal thing. It's not. I get so frustrated, guys. I shouldn't say that. I don't really get that frustrated anymore. I honor that some people want to teach communication in this way, and that's fine. But if you're hell bent on creating a structure that is sustainable and that you can be consistent within for the rest of your life when it comes to money and leadership, then you listen to this. Okay, you don't listen to, we've got to get in the feels about with communication. We've got to make it all nice and lovey. It's not about that. Okay, and I'm not saying to be an asshole on the other end where you read all the sentences on what to say, and that again is not what I'm saying here. Exchange. True leadership when it comes to money, when it comes to sales, is not personal. It's a structural thing. Okay, the trust, the love, the respect, the relationship, all that stuff that you want, okay, to make your conversations easier. I get it. I want that stuff too. But that is a byproduct of being in a structural and functional sales conversation. Write that down. The love, the respect, the money, the joy, the happiness, all the stuff that you want to make your work easier and feel nicer, you can still have that, but it comes as a byproduct. That is a byproduct of being in a functional sales conversation. And what's a functional sales conversation? I'll give you, it's very simple, right? You don't need to pay me 10 grand to learn this. you need to pay me good money to learn how to implement this, because implementation this is where the masters come in with this. But this is how simple it is. There's no trick. You know where you are. You know where you and your customer are. You know the end result. What is the actual end result of your product? And you also know what's the end result of this sales call. You're in a functional sales conversation, and you can repeat this same structure with everybody you speak to. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they're like, I was saying, all the sales conversations I have are the same. How's that possible, Jordan? Well, the structure's the same. I don't move my structure to suit other people. And some people get very triggered by this. You need to change how you communicate to suit other people. No, stop that. Right now you're getting into, becoming a shapeshifter. No, none of that. You're in the same structure, okay, with every person you speak to. And because you're in the same structure, you're able to serve them consistently from your genius to meet their needs. As a byproduct of serving them and being so focused on that, do you know what that customer says? Wow, what a professional. I wonder why they're like that. I wonder how they did that. My goodness, this product really did help me. Thank you so much. And what happens? They like you. Then you start to have relationship. Then you start to have joy. Then the next time they pick up the phone, it's amazing. My customers loved hearing from me. I used to, there were leads, guys, that I would literally call 40 times. And some of them pick up on the 40th time and go, Jordan, you again. They loved it. Why could I do that? I'm not saying that there's plenty of salespeople that do this, but in order to do that sustainably, like why can we do this? We're in a structure of service. We're not in, I need to get this person to like me. I need to show up and be all bubbly. I need to build rapport. Throw rapport out. That's an outdated thing. There's no rapport. Rapport is a byproduct. Rapport is a byproduct. Okay. And it doesn't matter whether you're a florist, whether you're a coach, and you're running your own solo operation, network marketer, or you're a sales executive in a big corporate and you're making like 200 calls a day. This structure stays the same. Exchange of money is not personal. Sales is not personal. It's structural. And everything you want comes as a byproduct of staying in that structure. When you have these 2 points, the current reality and the true end result of your sales calls, okay, of the point where you make an exchange with someone, in the middle, there's this thing called tension. It's tense. You can either see it as a creative power and use it, or you could see it as, this isn't nice. It's meant to be lovely. It's meant to be bubbly in here. So let's get rid of it. Let me start cracking jokes, right? And let me start smiling too much. Let me start opening my eyes up really wide. I don't even know why I did that. I don't know if you guys do that, but I bet salespeople like their eyes are so wide, probably for other reasons. But like you start doing weird things because you're trying to resolve the tension. Don't do that. Tension's powerful. Why is tension powerful? Because when you're able to sit with tension, you are telling the customer you are powerful in your own skin. You are comfortable in your own skin, and you can hold you can hold the distance between the two of you. When the customer starts feeling that you're trying everything to close the gap between you two, okay? You're trying to speed it along. You're not just letting the energy between you, the distance between you, close it naturally, okay? To inspire certain words out of you, to inspire silence when you know that you need to let your customer just digest what you've said. There's all of these components. This is where we get more advanced, which is what I go through in my workshops and stuff. But when you're able to embrace the tension and to allow it to guide the sales conversation, that's when you become a master. That's when you become a master. Okay. There are times, guys, literally, I remember when I was in my sales agency and making like hundreds of calls a day, there were times where I would stay silent for a minute with the customer. I just dropped something real heavy, right? It might have just been asking them a deep question and it would go silent for a minute and then they would respond. Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Or they would talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, right? And the tension within me as they're talking, taking the conversation off track, I would cut them off and say, we're getting off track. Let's stay on this. Tension through the roof. Oh, whoa, you can't do that. You got to let the customer speak. No, not if they're taking it off on another end result, because this is what people will do to you. And it's not that they're intentionally doing that. It's just humans are humans. And when you're aware of this stuff and you're focused on a true end result, you will guide people back because you're focused. That's what you want to serve. But when it's like, oh, I need to please them and make them feel good, you'll just let them take the conversation wherever they want to go. And that is a dysfunctional structure. And that's why you see people hating sales. They hate it. Oh, so exhausting. No, your structure's exhausting. Sales isn't exhausting. Your structure's exhausting. Okay. Anyhow, exchange isn't personal. When it becomes a structural thing, you just continue to run the system, run the process. And when you're able to bring your character to that process, that's when you become a master. Okay. I'm not saying be a robot here. Your character, your true essence can come into sales calls, but it doesn't drive the sales call. Please note that. Your character comes in as like a spice, a sauce, but it's not the pasta. No. The pasta makes the dish, okay? That is the structure, right? Please remember, you guys will remember that now. The sauce, yeah, it adds flavor and it shows people what they're getting involved with, right? But the structure, that sucker makes the dish, okay? All right, that's going to burn in your memory now. All right, third. This is the biggest premise of them all when it comes to money magic. See the heart of what you do so others will. I am amazed, guys, how many sales teams I've spoken to, how many entrepreneurs with their own product. They've got no idea what their business actually does. No idea. No idea. They're focused on the design. Oh, I've got this lovely tech business and this is what it is. But that's not what it really is. That's not what it does. The heart. What does it do for your customer? What does it do? What is it? Okay. I remember I was watching Robert Fritz, fantastic speaker, fantastic. He speaks about structural dynamics, a little bit of what I speak about on this podcast. And he was talking about when he was doing consulting with Nike. And he goes, I remember walking in and I just wanted to know what they did, right? And the person interviewing him was like, so do you have to do all this analysis and everything? And Robert just cut him off. He's like, no. I wanted to get to the core of what they did. And the manager told me, we do sports. And that's it. That's it. I got it. I wanted to know whether it was running. I wanted to know whether it was just basketball. I wanted to know like what is it that they're doing. And the managers, all the managers that were uber like in love with what Nike was doing was like, we do sports. That's what we're great at. Designing shoes, designing clothes, that is about sports. And it's like, great, I get that. I get that. We get our customers involved in sports. We get our customers like who love sports. That's why they come to Nike. And I can resonate with that. I love all the basketball gear because I love basketball. So I go and buy their gear, right? It's sports. What does your business do? What does your business do? What's it about? Okay. My business, this, right? I know on one level I do sales. One level is sales. I help people increase sales. That's what it's about. Corporations. Okay. At a whole other level, it's about leadership. Helping leaders become better leaders and also helping leaders unlock leaders below them. That's what I do. I don't need this big statement to tell people what it's about, that's all like designed perfectly and sounds bland and like I'm talking from my head. No, what is it? Okay, because when you know the heart of what you do, others will see it. Now, here's the thing. Lots of people get caught up in the secret sauce. It's like, oh, but I do it differently. Your customer doesn't care about that beforehand. Okay, once they experience it, they will see that you do it differently. They will see it. But telling them that you're different up front, okay, that's not how you convey difference. All right. The heart of what you do is the heart of what you do. It's implied that it's different. Okay. You get to the core of it. And as you allow tension into the sales conversation, it will become obvious to the person you're speaking to that you are different. So I get so annoyed. I get very annoyed. People are like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm different. Your ego will keep you in a box. You can't be in a box trying to figure out how you're different. Your genius knows. Okay, your genius knows. And if you embrace the tension around your genius, it will guide you to the obvious difference, because it's always obvious. It's always obvious. I've got so many differences with my business, right? Which I'm not going to get into now because it's going to waste your time. But literally, when you embrace the tension, the unknown around that, and the distance, like if you're focused on I need to be clear on how my business is different. Be aware where you are and set that as an end result, and embrace the tension that comes with that. And it will come to you. Getting off track there, but that's just a little tip because it seems like that'll be a big thing for a lot of solopreneurs out there. I know that's a big question, but to sum up, guys, for all my salespeople out there, for all my sales managers, for all my business owners with teams, literally, your people need to know the heart of what you do. They need to get it. All right, one of my best one-on-one clients, her whole business is changing now because she's at the heart. She's at the heart of what her business does. Okay, she's really at the heart. She's got it in words. There's an emotion to it. So when people look at it, they get it. All right, it's inspiring. All this stuff that she's creating, her business is taking off because of it, because she's on the heart. Other people are seeing it. But if you're not on the heart, they're not going to see it. Trust me. And figuring it out isn't going to get you in your heart. It's going to get you more in your head. All right. You'll come up with logical reasons that you're different, but it's not the truth. Okay. All righty, guys. So we're just going to do a little summary. Today's episode was about helping you build momentum with your money. Okay. Lots of sales principles in here. Lots of powerful stuff. When it comes to setting up structures that are in support of you creating more flows. The misconceptions. People needed to do shady shit to make lots of money, right? The people who have it, right? Totally not true when you know that money is a structural thing. And you also know about the pendulum, that yes, some people who are in that survival mode will have experienced some sort of pain, and it swung the other way, which created all the manipulative strategy. If you're not taking it personally, you don't put yourself in that structure. It evades me, and therefore I must do everything I need to get, okay, to get it. That's misconception too. Not true, okay, if you are in a structure that is about creating value instead of seeking out a supply. All right, one of the best things I've learned from my current mentors. If you're in the, oh my God, where's all the flow? Right? And you're not on the value that's going to create the flow, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And then the last thing is you feel icky asking for it. And again, this is a misconception because ickiness, tension, feeling uncomfortable about it is part of exchange. It's part of it. Okay. And when you see it as normal, it will start to serve you instead of kill you and kill your conversations. Key premises: the structure is more important than the money. Get in a functional structure when it comes to making money. What's a functional structure? You know the heart of your business. You know the heart of your business. You know the heart of your product, and you know the heart of your sales calls, or whatever it is that you use to bring in revenue. Second, exchange is not personal. Exchange is structural. Get structured. Get structured in your calls. I'm not talking about scripts here. Get clear on where you are, where you and your customers are. Get clear on the end result you're going for, and define quickly if there's a match. And if there is a match, allow the tension to carry you through in your conversations, not your script, and not what your sales, your other sales mentor told you to say when it comes to objection handling. None of that is important when you have tension by your side. And then the last thing is, see the heart of what you do, and others will too. Okay. If you see the heart of what your business is about, others will join in, and it will become very obvious. Alrighty, guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, what I'd love you to do is head to Spotify and leave a review. Also feel free to do that in the YouTube comments. It would mean the world to get this message out to more business owners and executives. We also have programs that we're offering right now to corporations and teams. That is the big focus of mine. We've got sales programs and a leadership program. If you are interested in getting your team trained in things like unlocking their true genius within your company, connecting that to the vision of your company, improving sales, and using the structural concepts that I was talking about, book in a call with me for 30 minutes. We'll essentially do what I spoke about in this podcast, just assess where you are, where you guys really want to head, and we'll see if there's a match. And if there is, we can talk about how that might work. Apart from that, guys, you have a fantastic day and rest of your week, and we'll be back next Thursday from Bali. I'm going away for a little bit. I'll be in Ubud recording episode 6. So look forward to that, and yeah, stay inspired. Chat soon.